Fluttershy refers to herself as an animal.
Aren't there more animals that need cleaning? I think you and I are the only ones left.
It's an odd feeling when the thing that was supposed to be a joke falls flat and I'm left thinking about the implications. Now, I value show don't tell very highly. There's nothing more frustrating than a character talking about something that they could just as easily be doing. But I'm also aware that telling is not avoidable 100% of the time, especially in a situation when one character has to tell something to another character in order for the plot to advance. Now, Twilight kicking Angel Bunny into the mud at the prospect of going home in order to make more work for herself is a clear way to present to the audience that Twilight doesn't want to go home. So I guess you could say Twilight is homophobic. There's no one here, I just high-fived myself. So maybe the scene where the other 5 talk about Twilight avoiding her castle will be criticized for being repetitive, even though these 5 need to know that the other 4 all had the same experience with Twilight. So in reality, this scene exists so the characters can share information amongst themselves that's necessary to get to the next plot point. This is a pretty skillful delivery of exposition, clearly demonstrating something and then repeating it to benefit the younger audience in a way that fits into the story progression. And in a show that's decidedly written for an audience younger than 12, or at least younger than 12 at heart, it's impressive when you compare it to something written for, say, an audience over the age of 12.
Killing him will just wake him up.
Why did she say that to him?
There's no use threatening him in a dream.
He just got done saying he knew how that worked. And why did he feel the need to say that to her? Why did anyone feel the need to put that exchange in the script if they were just gonna demonstrate it 10 seconds later? Yeah, when I want to be talked down to like I'm 6, I watch Inception, and when I want to be impressed with a skillful delivery of exposition, I watch My Little Pony. What the fuck? I appreciate this episode a lot, because it's saying what I've been thinking since Season 4 ended. It's ugly and dreary and thematically wrong, and an episode dedicated to the main 6 all admitting that it's shit and going out of their way to make it slightly less shit is an A+ in my book. It's almost like they're reincorporating the lesson they learned 2 whole seasons ago in Lesson 0.
We should have taken her feelings seriously and been there for her.
The point is that eventually they all sit down and talk their problems through like real magicians. I mean, friends, goddammit. They want to help Twilight solve her problem. That's the point. And like all things in this show that would otherwise take too long to show, we get a montage. And hey, don't try to slip that shit past me, Ingram. I'm on to you. You used this song last season. You thought nobody would notice, didn't you? Now, I don't really know how to feel about this song. I'm erring on the side of hating it because the last time I heard it, it had a better melody and better lyrics. But Ashley Ball's voice is just beautiful.
Let's all work together.
Even though this song gave her awesome Tourette's.
How could any pony awesome ask for more than that?
You can't just throw adjectives into a sentence like that. Almost immediately, this song grinds my gears.
Make this castle shine. Add some sparkle.
It's a castle made out of crystals. Shining and sparkling are the only 2 things it's good for. You should be trying to make it feel less like a crystalline hellhole and more like the soft, cozy library inside of a tree from the last 4 seasons by downplaying all the features that make it seem cold and hard and shiny and empty. But the more I think about it, the more I think the point of this song was to be sarcastic, because, well, they all fail miserably. But it doesn't mesh with the grandiose sound of the song and the beautiful vocalism, I guess. I wish I knew anything about music. It would make these videos so much more insightful, and the song sounded too good to be a joke. But it doesn't make sense in any other context. Not to mention that they learned back in Season 1 that Rarity alone should be doing all of the design work.
If you try to please every pony, you oftentimes end up pleasing no pony.
But I guess that's not the point, because they relearn a lot of lessons in this episode.
Man, this place looks terrible.
Thank goodness some pony said something. You should never be afraid to share your true feelings with a good friend.
Maybe to illustrate that friendship is an uphill battle, and that people never really change, despite what you've been through. Or maybe it was just a tool to get to all the passive-aggressive bickering.
I'm taking down the portrait. We already know what we look like. This picture of me winning a race.
Juxtapositional soundbite.
Or they might have forgotten. Who knows, it's been a long time since season 1. And speaking of time, and crappy segues, this episode makes a kind of interesting point about time. See, when Applejack says,
"Stuck around till near midnight."
It's still pretty bright out, which might be an animation error, but based on some of the other weird things that happen in this show involving time, I think it might have been intentional. Twice that I can think of, they don't say it's the next day until the actual moment when the sun comes up.
Twilight! It's over! It's officially Tuesday morning.
It's officially Apple Bucking Day!
Which is confusing for you if you live on Earth. But in Equestria, where the sun and the moon are moved by members of the royal family instead of physics, this might actually be the way they keep track of the days. But then even in this very episode, the sun moves on its own, so I don't know what to believe anymore. Despite how the main six's lives were presented in the premiere, it still looks like there's going to be a load of little slice of life episodes this season. So it does kind of look like the writers are trying to have their continuity cake and eat it too, which is exactly what I wanted them to do, so I'm thrilled. And yes, I am aware of how much of a big fucking hypocrite I sound like for encouraging writers to ignore continuity. But I'd rather have one bad episode that can be safely ignored than for every episode from here to oblivion be held back by the sins of one shitty episode that probably only exists to satisfy evil corporate overlords who own the rights to the show. Damn it. I mean, Hasbro is great. They're all lovely people who clearly know what's best for this show. Then, eventually, they come to the right conclusion.
We had a lot of good memories there, though. That's what made the Golden Oak Library home.
Which was another lesson that was learned over a season ago.
Still plenty of time to make good memories. You just gotta give every pony a chance to actually make them.
Fuck continuity.